Hi, my name is Joanna Ross, and I'm one of the therapists at the New London Counseling Center. In this video, I'm going to go over Emotional Freedom Technique, or EFT, also known as tapping. This technique can be used as a tool just like mindfulness or deep breathing to help you reduce the intensity of strong feelings that you might be experiencing. So this video will go over sort of what EFT is and how you can use it in your daily life. It really can be used anytime, anywhere. There are components of it that you might just do at home, but when you're out and you're feeling triggered with strong feelings and emotions, you might want to try to use it in a more discreet way, and that's okay. So first of all, EFT is an evidence-based treatment or tool that has been proven effective with PTSD, phobias, cravings, pain, and strong feelings of depression and anxiety. You don't have to have a major diagnosis to see the effects of EFT and use this tool. So the two components really that are used are a psychological theory and some of the components of acupuncture. They do call it acupuncture without needles. So we're going to use acupuncture pressure points that I will help identify for you, and we're also going to pair it with the psychological theories of exposure therapy, which is really thinking and bringing up those feelings that you're feeling and really experiencing them in your body. And when we pair that exposure, that being exposed to that thought and those feelings, and we're pairing it with the acupuncture pressure points, it's actually going to help interrupt the stress response, because all of us have triggers in our life, and triggers create our thoughts and our feelings that we really can't control sometimes. And the difficulties come when those thoughts and feelings start to impact our functioning, maybe how we react and our behavior towards others, and even our physical health. Stress is a major component in mental health issues and physical health issues. So you can use EFT to help reduce the stress response and train your brain to respond in a calmer way when you experience a trigger. Let's just start identifying what is going on in your life today. One of the important pieces about EFT is to be specific when you're thinking about what you're worried about, what's bothering you, what's that thought in your head. And when you can be very specific, coming up with a situation or what somebody said, that then can eventually, over time, if you're tapping out multiple thoughts, can generalize to an overall reduction in anxiety or overall reduction in the depressive feelings. So even though it feels like you're only tapping on something very specific, if you keep doing it on specific, they're called aspects of your overarching feelings of anxiety, you might feel benefit across the board, which is great. So think about this today, like what's going on in your life. Did somebody say something to you that upset you? Did you receive a call from your boss and there was a tone of voice that made you unsure about something? Did you see something on TV that has been bothering you? You might just be having an off day and you're not sure why, and maybe that's your thought. I don't know why I'm feeling this way. But coming up with your specific thought for you, okay? So we're going to start the exercise by closing our eyes and scanning our body just to see where are we feeling those feelings. I want you to really bring up the thoughts and the feelings and, create the pain and the intensity in your body. And then I want you to rank the intensity on a scale of 1 to 10. Do you feel it in your chest or your neck? Do you feel it in your stomach or your head? And once you've rated it on a scale of 1 to 10, hold on to that number, because we'll compare it after we've gone through the exercise. On top of using exposure therapy and really thinking up and bringing up these feelings, we're also going to use what they call cognitive restructuring. And it's really about, even though you're having all these feelings, that you have a sense of self-acceptance of your situation, of yourself, of your feelings, being kind to yourself. That's also a big component of mindfulness, is being kind to our thoughts, because when we're fighting with them, that's really just perpetuating the stress response in our body when we're saying, why did I think this? Can't I stop saying this? And we're just sort of fighting with ourselves. So we're going to use a statement that's, even though I have this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. So we're going to start with that here. And this is the karate chop point. I'm going to go through a series of other pressure points on our face and some on our collarbone and under our arm. There's also a point up here on top of your head, and there are other pressure points on your fingertips, but I'm going to go through a series of 7 and explain those after we do that, okay? So let's start here, and we're going to use our statement. Even though I have this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. Now come up to your forehead and use 2 fingers if you want, or 1 finger, and put some pressure. And just think about that problem. Over here on your temple, same thing. You can do 2 sides, 1 side, problem. Under the eye, think about the problem. Under your nose, think about the problem, that thought going through your mind. Under the lip, think about the problem. Now here we're going to go from the little parts of our collarbone, a little diagonal down about 1 inch, and push in there. 1 finger, 2 fingers, 1 side or 2. Think about the problem. And then we're going to go about 4 fingers underneath our arm. And we're going to push in on both sides, or 1 side. You can also hug yourself and think about the problem. Now take a minute and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Where do you feel those feelings? Is it in the same place? I want you to think about the intensity on a scale of 1 to 10. Did it come down? It might not have come down to a 0, and that's okay. If it did come down to a 0, then you're done with the exercise for right now, and you can use it again when you're feeling triggered. The idea is to bring these intensities of the feelings down to 0. So I will go through it again with you if you haven't gone to 0, but the point of bringing it to 0 is we are trying to retrain our brain and break that cycle of the stress response. So if you're still feeling the feelings, your brain is still sort of experiencing this stress response. So let's start here again. Even though I still have this problem and I still have these feelings, I deeply and completely accept myself. Up here on the forehead, think about the problem. Here on the temple, think about the problem. Under the eye, think about the problem. Under the nose, think about the problem. Under the lip, think about the problem. By the collarbone, problem. Under the arm, problem. Close your eyes. Do you still feel it? Where do you feel it? And what is the intensity? Again, if it didn't come down to 0, that's okay. And you might want to do it again. But this is such an easy tool. You don't need anything to do it. You might not want to do the arms in public, but you definitely could maybe do your tapping on your hand here at the karate chop point. You could do it under a table. You could look at some of the other pressure points on your finger and squeeze the fingers. Now that we've gone through the procedure, let's just go through a couple additional tips. First, you might want to organize your thoughts. You can do this exercise when you're feeling immediately triggered, but after you're triggered, you could also go through and look at what are each of the aspects that are going on. For example, when your boss calls you and has a tone of voice, you could tap on the tone of voice that your boss had, but you could also type on the thought that maybe you did something wrong, or maybe he doesn't understand and support you, or maybe you think that he doesn't like you. There could be lots of thoughts going on with the feelings that you experience when you get triggered. Sometimes you might write in a journal, and that can help you come up with those ideas. Next, truly feeling a sense of self-acceptance can be difficult, so you might need to repeat that self-acceptance statement for longer, maybe 2 or 3 times before you go through the other tapping points, to really help your brain calm and focus and believe those thoughts. However, If you find that accepting yourself in spite of your thoughts and feelings seems unrealistic or hard or doesn't make sense, it might be something that would benefit from individual therapy. You can contact the New London Counseling Center and schedule an appointment with one of our therapists. This procedure, like I said, is just a self-help tool, something additional for you to be able to use to help reduce the intensity of your feelings and really calm your brain.
Thank you for watching this video from New London Counseling Center, a nonprofit mental health clinic. For more videos like this, be sure to join our mailing list and visit our resource page at newlondoncounselingcenter.com. Thank you to the generous donors who have made mental health care accessible in our community.